In my last video, I left this section of the front right hand lower corner open so I could get paint up inside on the inner wing. I'm now just tweaking some of the repairs I made before just to get a bit of the curve of that wheel arch in. This is my paper template I'm making for the section that I need to fill in. I'm putting the little cuts in that, which will be similar in the metal later, so that I can get the curve on this section too. It's a little fiddly, but the more time you spend on the template, the less time you'll spend later forming the metal. So I'll just trace out the edges where I need to cut. I've placed that down on that ever diminishing bonnet section that I salvaged. So I'll cut my repair section out. I folded it in the vise and drilled it. Cleaned back the paint from the areas where the weld needs to go on, and now I'm using some weld through primer on the areas that will be welded or that will be inaccessible after the piece is welded in. Done that on the van as well. And then I could fit in my section. I'm doing this in two parts, so there's one for the curved section, and I still have a little space for maneuvering that into place, and then a little flat plate on the bottom will be the final piece of this part of the jigsaw, that is the Talbot Express camper van. I clamp that in place and start with a few little tacks to hold it in. Then some continuous weld along the edge with the last remaining bits of the old arch, and then plug welds all along this seam where I have 3 sections joining up. Now you can see the last little bit to fill in. Again, clear back the edges. That'll take a continuous weld there, and I'll have spot welds along here. I had a look at the other side and to try and see what I had to build over here, but although the other side isn't as bad as this one, it was still hard to tell what should go here originally. So this is an educated guess. I'm just trying to follow the principles of the way the rest of it is constructed. So another template. Mark it out on the sheet. Cut this one out too. Trying to leave as big sections as possible behind so that I have the most options for the future. I bent that in the vise and I'm drilling a few holes there for my plug welds. Now I'm drilling the section of wheel arch that I welded in, as the repair panel will go in behind this. Fits up quite nice. I clamp it in place. And again, start with the few plug welds and continue them around with one continuous one at the front. I left all these flanges a little bit long so that they could be trimmed together. Just meant I didn't have to be crazy accurate as they were fitting, and allowed for a little bit of give and take with the folds. So They trimmed back nicely, and now just taking the burrs off the edges. It's quite a satisfying repair. There's some difference now in integrity between the left hand side and the right hand side.